N8N.
whole there was a whole debate at a conference I was at whether it's pronounced N8N or Nathan. And to be honest with you, I don't know where it landed, but I think it landed at N8N. So that's what I'm going with. Nathan?
Nathan doesn't make sense.
I don't like
No.
it.
Mm-mm.
I don't like it, but I do like that they're going to give us credits. So
Yeah.
I do like
Give
that.
the people the credits, you know?
Exactly.
Credits for the people.
Well, I mean, here we are again. Should I do our read-in? I mean, it's been a while. Like
Do the read-in.
the read-in.
Make it
The read-in.
official.
Okay, it's official. Welcome to Supercharged by AI, a podcast by AI Portland. I am Megan Notarte, partner at Cloud4, co-founder of AI Portland. I am joined by
Nicole Moores, co-founder of AI Portland, product design leader at Lithium Motors.
Haha, we're back, friends. Did you miss us? All 7 of you listeners.
People said something though. They were like,
I
"Where's your
know.
podcast, Nicole?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, that thing."
Listen, I'm just going to put this out there right now. If you are one of our 7 listeners, hi Mom, hi Marie, and you like to edit podcasts, if we had someone to edit our podcasts, they would happen more often.
So I also feel like this is an important podcast for us to do because we had a lot of people who were asking if we would record our event last night, and we don't do that for really good reasons. And so this is what you get instead. Sorry.
You just get to hear us talking about it. And I'm glad you said that because I sent out like 3 emails this morning that said, I'm so sorry, we did not record this, but we will have this podcast. So you get to hear our thoughts on what happened last night. And I think briefly we should say why. Right? Like, why do we not live stream and record?
Yeah. So one of the things AI is everywhere. There's so many different ways conversations could go. We want to have a space where people can feel free to like be the skeptic they are or be the optimist they are or just say whatever wild thing they have inside. And maybe no one wants that living on the internet forever. So we want just a safe space where people can talk authentically about this new technology and all the ways that it's affecting them.
That's right. And I also think like if you don't know this, Nicole and I are really committed to doing what we can to make our community innovative, creative, connected, like bring all the vitality back. And part of that is having events where we're in person and in town. So that is also one of our things. That is actually one of the reasons we started this podcast too. It was like, how do we help people who can't be there while also staying true to both of those things?
Yeah, totally. In person, in Portland. I didn't want to put on hard pants yesterday. If I could have watched a recording of last night's presentation, I would have done that. But like, y'all, we need to put on the hard pants. We need to be together. We
can do
There's so
we can
much
do
going
hard
on.
things. We can do hard pants.
We can do this. We actually do need to be together now more than ever.
It's true. I did not want to put on the hard pants so many times this week.
I wore my sweatpants to the very last moment. And as I was taking them off, I was like, why?
I did that on Tuesday. So Tuesday, we have had a lot of things going on this week, and a lot of things this year has been a lot of cool stuff, but I think we'll just start with this week, right?
I feel like things are like the AI is like a whole different thing this year. And I don't think AI is it's always a whole different thing every day, but I feel like the world or people in Portland maybe are catching up with it. People everywhere are sort of catching up.
Yeah. I think there's been some significant developments that have made things that like have been kind of hype or bullshit actually real and useful. You know, like, Claude Code and the ability to build things like that stuff is actually here and happening. And I know, friends, you've been on the frontier. You will argue with me and say that it has been there. It's not actually been there for regular people, but in a lot of ways it is right now. So I think that is changing. Like there is sort of new energy and like new excitement,
which we're cool. Really feeling. There's just a lot going on, a lot of cool stuff, a lot of fun stuff.
Which is really, really cool. So this week, we were invited to an advanced screening of a documentary that was shown at Sundance Film Festival. It's called The AI Doc, How I Became an Apocalyptimist. I did it. I was like, as I was talking, I was like, am I going to say it right? You say it. Try.
No, you know I don't like it when
Apocalyptimist.
I don't like it when you order me around.
Ugh, ain't that the truth? Apocalyptimist.
Apocalyptimist.
I like listen, sidebar. I want that word to catch on because that's like kind of how you and I see things, but also it's impossible. That's not gonna catch on.
But essentially, it's the person who is both inspired by the wonderful things AI could do and the completely terrifying, "This will end the world. There's no future for the children." It's like being that person, both truths inside you and not knowing what to do with that.
Yes, I would say I wrote a little thing about this already, but like it's not a vacation watch, you know?
Left halfway through. I
Nicole
did.
got it was there are I mean, the doomers make their point, I think, like, in a very visceral way, and, like, the protagonist of the documentary, like, we are all him, right? We are all
We
trying to
are.
figure out what is actually happening, and should I be scared? Should I be, like, excited? And, the answer is, like, we don't know what tomorrow holds. We have no idea, but I definitely
Yes,
felt it.
I had parental duties that night, and so I brought my daughter who's young, and she kept asking me like, "Is this real?" And I'm like, "Oh my god, I might be, like, damaging her. We should probably go." Home from school I don't know if I told you this, Megan,
You
but
did
she came
not.
home from school, and she comes to me, and she was like, "We talked about AI in school today," and I was like, "Oh, okay," and she's like, "Did you know that every time you use an AI, polar bear dies?" And she goes,
My
"Don't you run an AI group? Why are you, mom, killing the polar bears?"
Did she actually say this?
Yes. I was like, "Okay, sit down, let's have a conversation."
Yes. Also, you all left before you got to, like, the optimist viewpoint,
We're not in
so
we're
she
not
didn't
yeah,
hear any of
we're not
that.
in a good place in my house right now.
Man, I mean, the thing I really liked about the documentary was it didn't sugarcoat really either point of view, like, it just let them sort of stand, and, I think the place where, the filmmaker landed is kind of the place that you and I inhabit, which is this technology is here and it's not going anywhere. There are some very cool things and some very interesting things that it does. There's some very, very scary things, but we have agency and we actually have a responsibility to understand what's going on and like
Absolutely.
become part of the conversation.
Yeah, and it's just like the way the universe works to unlock the really good, amazing things, you have to take the risk of unlocking all the terrible things, and that is why we have to show up and understand and have agency in this moment, and demand agency in this moment. Otherwise, they're like we have an obligation.
We don't have any say. And like that all sounds like great. And I know that that's a harder thing in reality, but I think fundamentally understanding the tech sometimes it's less scary when you actually see what it can and cannot do right now. A lot of what the doomers and the optimists are so excited or scared about is something that is still in the future that hasn't happened yet. It's a version of the future that could happen. And so like that isn't actually where we are right now. So like it's okay to get on board and try to see what's going on and like really learn about it. And that's I don't know. I walked away. You didn't see this part. By the way, I laughed. I cried. Like it not cried out of fear and anxiety, but like there were some moving moments near the end. But I left there and I was like, well, this is why we're doing what we're doing. We're
Exactly.
trying to do our little part to have people understand what's happening so we don't just get steamrolled by the Mark Zuckerbergs of the world
Mhm.
who opted not to appear in that documentary. They just showed an empty chair for him. Elon
Mm,
Musk apparently agreed to it and then was too busy. But
mhm.
you get to hear from Sam Altman and Dario Amodei and Demis
Yeah.
Husabi.
The movie was excellently like, the half I watched was excellently done. The animation was beautiful. It was just a very well done film. The storytelling was good. It just was very compelling. I will watch it all the way through. I will.
Yeah, if I were at home, I would have, like, paused it and flipped over to, like, The Good Place for a little bit and then came back, because I
Yes,
definitely
we
felt it
went
physically in my body.
yeah, we went home and we're like, "Let's watch Gilmore Girls." Like, we gotta lighten this up a little bit.
Anyway, that was so cool, and also we were there with our homies,
So many
like,
friends.
so
So
many
many
friends.
friends. That was
Yeah.
great. people we hadn't seen in a while. That was amazing.
It was cool, and next time, if it wasn't on such a busy week, it would have been cool to go hang at, like, a pub or something and continue the conversation, but
Agreed.
listen, it was a school night, and I think everybody was like, "It's a school night, I gotta go." I'm like, "You are my people, I also have to go." But it was very cool, very cool. Got to go to premiere.
Yeah, it was awesome.
More happened this week, and actually, I think the juiciest bit to talk about, right, was last night's event.
Yes. Yes. Last night we had a design focused event with Alex. I don't want to butcher his last name
San
from
George?
San George.
Yeah.
Alex from Paramount
Sorry,
Plus.
Alex.
He's a design director on their monetization team. I made that up too. He, went over how his team is and kinda isn't using AI and their product design practice at the Paramount Plus, and we partnered with, Friends of Figma for this event, so he talked mostly about Figma Make, which is an AI feature within Figma, and talked a little bit about how he was using other tooling as well, but the majority of what he showed us and talked about was Figma Make, and it was awesome. Yeah, where do I start? The very
Well, I mean,
beginning?
I think I have to confess that, like, you were awesome MC. This is your, like, area of expertise, right? These were designers. Oh, we had
Well,
115 people show up in the room. Like, these are your people. I
yeah,
was running support. And so there was a lot going on because there were so many people there that I kind of missed a lot of what Alex got to tell us. So I was hoping that you would be able to tell me
Megan
some of the things
never
that I
pays
missed.
attention to the actual
It's
events.
hard. It's
Yeah,
hard. There's a lot going
isn't it?
on, and,
There is
like,
a lot going
people
on.
are mad about the sound, and, like, they wanna know where the bathroom is, and, like, you
Yeah.
know
So this event in particular was interesting to me, not only because AI is cool, but product design is what I do. We are all as designers trying to figure out how this fits into our process. Can we use it? Prime time for production is the number one question. A lot of CEOs and higher ups are like, oh, go faster, design more. Like everybody use AI. We're all in. Let's do it. And then like when it comes to the reality of using these tools, it doesn't necessarily match up. And so you're getting the pressure. You're also trying to figure it out and you're trying to bring your whole team along with you. And that can all be really challenging. So it was super cool to hear someone who is doing that in a large organization on a large product. I think he said they support up to 50 different languages or something like that. I might have made that stat up, but it was a lot of languages in their design. So we're not talking like, little tiny application. We're talking Paramount Plus.
Yeah.
Um, one of the big pointers I think that we have definitely talked about before, but that he has found super successful. So when you're in Figma Make and you're using prompts to generate things, you can end up using many, many, many prompts. So one of his sort of unlocks was to work on his prompt in
Mm,
ChatGPT. Like, here's what I'm trying to do. Help me write a prompt for specifically Figma Make. And
that's
then he
cool.
was able, instead of like iterating on his prompt within Figma Make, he was able to perfect his make his prompt much more better and effective, bring it into Figma Make and have less of that iteration cycle. And we usually tell people who are just like, "I don't even know where to start." Like, start in whatever generative AI tool you want and, like, just start asking it how to write a prompt or, like, just, freestyle it a little bit. It'll give you a starting place, right? And so I found that incredibly effective.
I was paying able to pay more attention near the end, and, one of the questions I think really dovetail with a lot of what we say, to organizations. Someone asked, "How do you get your team on board if you've got
Mm,
folks who are not as, either savvy about AI or frankly interested in using it?" And his takeaway was, like, I thought it was so good. It was like, training them, telling them the things to do is not really the way to do it, but instead, like, showing something you made or creating a space for people to share the things that they're working on is the way that people kind of get up to speed and get inspired
I've
about
done
what
that.
could
I've
happen.
done all of that. Nobody cares.
I disagree. How many times do you
I think people just are curious or aren't curious, you know?
Mm,
And then
mm.
I think people have to find that curiosity inside themselves. There's no amount even, like, even the higher ups being like, "We're all in, figure it out," like,
No, well, that doesn't mean anything. But how
until
many
they're
times have
like,
you
"Put pen to paper, I wanna see the efficiency," it is not enough to inspire people to do it.
I don't know. I think, like, every time I see something that someone made and it shows me a way to use a tool or, like, even a frontier model in a way that I hadn't thought of, I'm like, "I didn't even think because it's like, it's just kinda
Sure.
greenfield right
Sure,
now.
sure, but let's say you're just in your you have deadlines, you have expectations, you have a
Sure,
tried
sure,
and
sure.
true
Yeah,
way of
yeah.
working that you know is going to get the job done. Are you gonna fuck around with that? No.
No, agreed. You don't have time. It's true.
No,
I mean,
and
it is a real problem.
we've all been laid off, we're all doing more with less. Absolutely not. But at
I hear
this
you.
point, let's be real. It is probably professionally reckless in this moment not to understand the AI tools available to you and your craft and your process and what you're doing. Find your curiosity now.
Yeah. Balance that with, like, the fact that sometimes you're just trying to get work done, and if you have a long list of work that you're just trying to get done, there isn't always time for, "How do I think innovatively about this?"
How
Right?
can
I
I
mean, we deal with that
experiment
in the
right
agency
now?
world, right?
Yeah,
Because you're, like, you got client deliverables, like, you're just trying to get things done. When am I supposed to have time to figure out how to do X, Y, Z? It's hard, I get it.
yeah.
But I do think examples and, like, having a space for people to share is a more effective way than just, like, "You must use AI," or whatever.
Yeah, or carving out a space, like, these select few are now gonna go off and, like, experiment with this or
Yes.
try and
Yeah.
build something with it or look at our process and see where we could be utilizing any of the tools, whether that's the ones that are available in the tools we already use or new ones. I think some of the most effective things that Alex shared with us were things he built to your point, the
Mhm.
experiments he made, where they were and weren't good.
Yeah.
As a designer, he did some cool stuff where it wasn't necessarily like, "Oh, I built these designs with Figma Make," but I made a way for stakeholders and product to interact with the designs we made. Sometimes it's really hard to just, like, show design or design how you're showing the designs, and so he used Figma Make to create like a interactive almost dashboard where it would toggle on and off different design variations, and that's really compelling as opposed to, like, zooming in and out of, like, just Figma artboards, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
We've
That's
all
cool.
had that happen to us.
I mean, they had he did an exercise, right? We built, like, a recipe app?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
See?
he like, on the fly, which was
Yeah,
cool.
which is cool. Yeah.
Totally cool.
Totally cool.
I think
Any other
one of the
takeaways?
Well, the big one is, right, like, it's really good for we've been saying this for a long time, really good for ideation, really good from getting from that 0 to 1 spot, but, like, can you use it just, like, to make a
For
thing that you would
production.
then go off and build? Probably not. It's not quite
Especially, I mean, I think it's the same thing we say all the time. If you're a startup, like, maybe, right? Like, you don't have existing assets, you don't have existing design systems, you don't have all these things, you have to
Mhm.
meet all these, like, different concepts of how things should look. But when you have that and you have existing teams and processes and organizations, like, it has a lot harder time fitting in to, like, magically just fitting in and making stuff that fits those
Yeah, I
rules.
think that was the main takeaway. Like, here's a well-established, product team of, great designers. Like, they can't figure out how to do it quite yet. It
Yeah.
doesn't yeah. So that's something to
There's
be taken away by all of our teams, especially like for me who works at a big company that isn't not necessarily a technology company, right? And so you get the pressure, you're being asked to use AI, but everything's locked down. You don't have access to the tools, you know what I mean? You
yeah.
have Figma
Yeah.
Make, which another thing that was, like, very clear last night is, like, if you're a designer and you're used to rocking and rolling by, like, clicking, dragging, copying, pasting, da 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 da, you're, like, been in Figma for a while now, you're probably pretty fast and efficient to prompt and then wait for Figma
Yeah,
to
it
load,
sucks.
load, load, load. If you're at all an impatient designer, holy shit, you know?
Yeah.
So these tools just have a long way to go before they're gonna catch up with, like, the best human designer, you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
they
which
don't
is
quite have the tooling available where you could toggle between generative mode, and I have exact design intent I want to exert right now on this thing that I'm
right.
working on, and it's a little clunky in between, you
Hmm.
know, those 2 sort of ways of designing.
Yeah.
So they're not there yet.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. It
And,
was a
there's
super fun night.
yeah, sorry, I could just keep going.
Yeah, no, keep going. Do you have
No,
another
no,
thing?
no, 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 we have other things to talk about. It was an
I
awesome
mean,
event, Friends of Figma, where it's at, Sabrina, shout
yeah,
out,
thanks. I was
thank
just about
you.
to
It
do
was
that. Yeah.
it was a fun, event. Definitely we're, a little thirsty for design events here in town, so those of you out there in design, like, have an event, do something. You have something to talk about? Like, let's have more design events.
Yeah. Yeah, they don't have to be AI Portland events. They don't even have to be about AI. Seemed like there was a lot of people. I mean, can we just also talk quickly about the other event that was happening in the same space we were at? Because I think some designers got lost at the psychological psychedelic event that was also
There was,
happening
like,
there.
there was the psychedelics, and there was
Yes.
wine.
There was wine too. But what's so funny, Nicole, and I don't think you saw this, but like at one point, this woman was like shepherding these two lost AI Portland people. And she was like, I think they were in the wrong place. And they
Yeah,
just looked like so also like that was very fun.
yeah.
It was a crowded night at Kiln. It was very cool in the best way, like lots of energy and lots of different kinds of folks. So it
There
was
should be 3 events at Kiln every night. Like,
yeah, I
what
bet they
else
would
can
love
we
that.
do together? What else can we do together? Like, the designers we need designers need events. People.
Yeah.
Designers need
Yeah.
events.
It was very, very cool. We had a really very cool announcement last night from one of our partner sponsors from Willamette University. It was so cool. Like we started partnering with Willamette, I think like at the start of the school year-ish, so September-ish. And they put together a scholarship for AI Portland community that you can apply for when you apply for their master's degree in data science program. And it's like, I don't know, it's so cool. Like you could get an $11,000 scholarship, $11,500, for being involved with AI Portland in some way. And I don't know, dude. I'm excited about it.
It's super generous, super rad, just like a very tangible benefit to being a part of the AI Portland community, and, like, thank you, Willamette University, that is amazing. Everybody go get your scholarship.
And go apply. Go back to school. Go get
Yeah.
your master's. They have a
There
really I mean, they're in Portland. I know they're known for being in Salem. I think their main campus is there, but they do have a campus here in Portland as well, and
so the
yeah.
future is data. The future is
Yeah,
data.
yeah, yeah,
Holy
yeah.
shit.
Yeah, they would agree. Oh man, we love being able to do real things for real people. And this feels like one of those times. So if you have questions, we'll include a link. And yeah, go Willamette. Very cool. We had another sponsor last night too.
Yes, we do. Digital Strategy Exchange is putting on a conference called Co-Create with an AI in it. And it's an unconference about human Gen AI collaboration at work. An unconference is kind of a different format where there's no speakers. The actual attendees kind of create the content. So I went last year. It was very good. You break off into small groups around different sort of themes or subjects, and you kind of talk these intimate smaller conversations about all different sort of topics. I think one of the topics that was really interesting last year that I participated in, just one of the breakout sessions, was on AI and storytelling.
Cool.
Our friend Garrett Stenson was in that one, and he went off to do mixed. So, like, you could potentially be in a conversation with someone like Garrett talking about storytelling, and he's gonna be inspired to go off and create this whole event. So that's, like, one of the interesting people that I met last year and was like, "That guy's got, like, something interesting to say." So you never know, Portland's small. You
Yeah.
actually, like, are in it with people, and it's just a really nice way to spend your day.
I didn't know of that through line. That's
Yeah,
cool. I
yeah,
didn't That's really cool. I love
yeah.
that.
Oh, so you can save 15%. Steve, who is organizing this event, he generously gave us a discount code, so we'll include that
Drop
in the
that
note.
in there. Yeah. I feel like I didn't prep you for this, but I
Gosh,
feel
okay.
like we have an obligation to talk about your redemption arc. Don't we? Don't
But
we?
although I almost did it again, I
No.
feel I was
Okay.
like, my eyes went wide, my brain
They
went
did.
blank.
They did.
You looked at me, you're like, "Oh, no." I could see you being like, "Just breathe, Nicole.
Just breathe. Find your
Just
body.
don't breathe." Okay, people.
We need to tell people what we're talking about.
Okay.
Do you want me to?
So
Okay,
yeah,
go.
go ahead. You say it.
So I'll link to the episode, but last year we were invited to speak at the Silicon Forest Tech Summit event and have a table. And we did both of those things. And, it was a very stressful time for us in general.
It was
There
an
was a,
off day. It was a
there
very
was a
off.
lot going on.
I have given so many talks
Yes.
with Megan, talks without Megan,
Yes.
for an hour, talks, 30-minute talks, so many talks. I've never had this happen to me.
For the record, a week prior, we had given a 60-minute essentially workshop, like talk. So there was a lot going on. Nicole, we lost our place.
No, I just,
Was
like, completely forgot the talk. I just, like, completely blacked out. I looked at Megan, she said, "I'm not going to save you."
No, that isn't what I said. I said, I can't save you because I also didn't know the talk well enough to because we were just
We just were
doing our best.
what we were doing, but we got through it. I got
We did get
myself
through
on
it.
track and it was fine, and people said it wasn't that bad, but it really affected me. I'm like, I
It
just
did.
don't even know what I'm gonna do. I never wanna
She,
see any of those people again. I never wanna do a talk. I never wanna do public speaking. I never wanna say anything.
the
I
fun,
have nothing to say. I'm not good.
all those things are our lies. The funniest part is that we actually made so many connections from that event. So as much as you wanted it to just go away, it's such a good event that tons of people would be like, "Oh, I saw you at the tech summit," and Nicole would be like,
Every time I'm just like,
"Right,
so
okay."
Yosef, the organizer, asked us to come back and speak again. So Megan's like, "You don't have to do it." And I'm like, "No, I'm doing it. I can do it. This is my redemption. I'm going to write the talk. I'm going to give the talk. I'm going to do it." And last weekend we did it
We
and it
did.
was awesome. I did have a moment where I was like, "Oh my God, is it happening again?" But it wasn't. It wasn't
Didn't.
happening.
It didn't.
I was challenged by Shashi Jain to work in a hot tub time machine reference, and I did. And I don't even think he stuck around to see it.
I don't think he did either. Although the lights are very bright. It is quite a disorienting experience when you're on the stage. So maybe he was there and that joke was just for him. So if you were confused, well, why we said that, that is why we did it.
That confusing. You're just like, Nicole watches Hot Tub Time
Of
Machine?
course she does. Of course she does. But in any case, redemption arc, right? Talk was so good, delivered. We got to talk about our commitment to community. Our call to action was that other people should also do the same thing, which is what made me think about it. You were talking about designers doing
Mhm.
events. I'm like, yeah, that's what we're saying. If you want to do an event, and you come to us and say, you should do XYZ, maybe you should do XYZ, right? We need a lot of people doing these kinds of things in town. So that was our call to action. We got to get up and talk about it. It went great. We had cute
It was
outfits.
fun. It was also fun. It was fun to talk about AI Portland and some of the things that we do and, like, ask other people, "Hey, you can do this too. Do you have an idea? Do you think that there's a conversation to be had? Let's go. Let's do this."
Yeah. Yeah. Such a great event. I mean, Yosef and his team pull off just this very cool, lots of different organizations, lots of different people on the stage. And we got to hear from Scott Hanselman, who his AI talk he gave is 100% in alignment with the AI talks that we've been giving. So it's so good to hear I don't know, it's validation, but also a unified voice.
He had such a good way of, like,
Is this chicken
speaking.
local?
Yeah, about, like, Portland AI, right? Like, how
Yes.
we uniquely think about things and how we need to apply that perspective to AI in this moment. It was brilliant, so brilliant.
Yes, entertaining. Also a lot of demo of Copilot based AI, which I don't get to see as much because it's not the ecosystem that I work in. But in any case, very cool. Redemption all
Yeah.
the way. That story is behind us. New story in front of us. It's all
Moving
good.
on, it was
Yeah.
a wonderful day.
Yes. Cool. Is there anything else for our
Did we
26th or
wanna talk
27th episode?
did we wanna talk about our upcoming events real quick?
Oh, of course. Yeah. Yeah, y'all. There's a lot of stuff in the air.
Yeah, these are just the things we have, finalized that are
Yeah.
100% happening, but there are other things percolating in the background,
I
but
know. Very
these are
cool.
the things you should come to for sure.
Mhm.
April 2nd, we have Let's Build with AI going
The
to
hub.
be at the Hub. It's going to be a co-working event. Show up, hack on things with friends, and maybe get some help or help someone else.
I'm
Will be
telling
a
you,
fun day.
like, just as a person who's been really excited about building things lately, it's so fun to sit in another space with other people who are doing it and just be able to look at this cool thing I built. And then they're like,
Totally.
well, have you thought of XYZ? Like, no, I haven't. Very cool. Okay, go on. I'm color commentary to your list.
Yeah, totally. April 16th, we have AI in the Future of Healthcare, a panel that we have someone from OSU. I don't know what it's gonna be, but it's gonna be good. I thought
We've got to,
I thought you were gonna jump in with some color
I
commentary.
was like,
That was like weird
I
for
can't
commentary.
save you. No, I can't save you. So we have a doctor from USC coming up. We've got Bert Rosen, who is a patient. So he's going to be talking about his extensive use of AI in managing a condition that he has. We've got Janet Johnson, who is an ethicist. And we're gonna talk about all the things related to healthcare and AI, and I think a lot from like sort of a patient perspective.
Yes. So April 16th, don't miss that. On May 15th, we are going to have a build challenge during Startup Week. It's going to be the last day of Startup Week, and it's going to be at the new Upstart space at Big Pink. We're still ironing out the details, but it's going to hopefully be a civic event where not just your average hackathon, it's going to be where we are potentially solving problems for the city of
Yeah, or
Portland.
our community. I mean, civic, we don't know yet, but broadly, like, things that are going to have a positive impact on our city, on our community. Lots of stuff still coming together. We have a couple of really cool sponsors to provide credits for that event. So we've got Lovable on board, we've got N8N on board. So both of these will allow you to use those tools for a certain amount of credits for free. And we're still kind of pulling all that stuff together. So keep an eye out for details on that.
Yeah, and it's going to be rad.
It's going to be rad.
Encourage all the people.
Yeah, it's going to be rad. This year, 2026, and it's like a lot of things to be anxious about. The world is a difficult place, but like also there's some really cool things happening and there's a lot of really cool energy, and like we can hold both things.
We can. We have to.
We have to. Thank you again for listening to this episode of Supercharged by AI. Subscribe to get all the latest episodes and check us out at aipdx.info for more information.